Hey everybody, welcome back to the Rhizocast. We're going into Hepcats number 2. We got 2 different reprints of it, which is a sign of how overwhelming and incredibly popular it was, I guess.
Yes.
This is Hepcats Special Edition number 2. This is the Antarctic Press Hepcats number 2. This is still printed on newsprint. This is on a little better paper, so we're going to look at this one most of the time, but they do have different back matter. This has, what is it called?
Way of the World.
Way of the World, the second installment, and this has a reprint of Young Hepcats that was originally printed in Usagi Yojimbo. And
we are getting into the dizzying highs and the scary lows of Hepcats. You know, like, there's a lot going on here. A lot of varying quality in this issue, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I can't remember about the intro to this one. The intro of of my copy, he complains that people got confused because this is one of the landscape comics, as we call them. And he said that retailers got mad about it.
Yeah.
Like they didn't know how to display it and all this. And it's like, then don't do it.
Yeah. In his little soapbox, and I can kind of go through it. He even says he regrets doing it this way in the landscape mode. He kind of hates it. Because he said it was just like so much. It was so ambitious. It was a lot of work. And he didn't plan it out correctly. Like, there's a page early on where the book cuts through the characters' faces.
Yeah.
So it's like he didn't even really plan it out well at times. And he says this is an issue inspired by a trip that him and his ex-wife took to Nolans.
But not when she was his ex-wife, I don't think.
No. No, but he says this was like one of the worst, like what inspired it was one of the worst trips of his life.
Yeah.
And he was miserable the whole time, and he said his ex-wife was absolutely horrible, and that he had to completely change Erica, who was based off of his ex-wife, then wife. But he had to completely change the story because he said she'd be unlikable. He said he needed her to be likable and for people to like care about her, and people wouldn't care about.
He mentioned in the intro of the other edition that the printer kept calling him about like there's something wrong. It's coming out sideways or whatever. You know, like the files are wrong. But.
Yeah. So he. Quick thing about the first page, he says he messed up and he didn't put an engine on the plane. So when he reprinted through Antarctic, he added like the little engine. He added something to make it like actually be able to fly.
Oh, well, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I think from different angles you wouldn't really see an engine at all anyway. But whatever.
Yeah.
Once again, the art is pretty cool. There's a lot of cross-hatching.
Yep. And a difference from issue 1 to 2 is now we have Arnie and Erica.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like our full cast moving forward, those 4 characters. Joey, Gunther, Erica, Arnie.
Joey is kind of kicked to the curb a little bit.
Yeah, like, you know, we were talking about in issue 1 about how much we liked Gunther and Joey, and they have a fun dynamic. And they still have that dynamic, but it's like the second these 2 are put into the comic, it's just all about them all the time.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, Arnie is kind of a douchebag. We're going to be seeing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he's a douche. I mean, he's just like a typical bro. And so Way of the World is not Arnie, it's Joey, right?
Correct.
See, so in my head I thought it was Arnie, and I was like, man, his personality changed a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, Joey's personality would still have changed a lot, but I mean, like, you know, I thought that Way of the World was like the aftermath of what this guy's experience with Erica, how it reshaped him, which
that would make sense.
Yeah, but that's not what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. And we land and we see the 2 MVPs of the comic.
Yeah.
Joey and Gunther.
heavily crosshatched.
Yeah. And this is what I was talking about. Like, he drew that way wrong. Like, that was way off.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, like, because you can't count on them on the registration to divide an image in half, and you don't find that out until you print it.
Yeah.
That you're like, oh, I thought they'd be able to make that work. Nope, they can't make it.
It is
work.
way off.
You only want to do the panels like that on the centerfold.
Yeah, and I do like this image.
Oh, the black.
Yeah, but here it's like you really get to see the full view of all characters, because it's like the Gunther and Joey, they've been there for hours. Gunther's like, yeah, Joey's sleeping, but he spent half of his cash on video games already, and Gunther just studied like a nerd. And then Arnie, she's like, oh, I'm sorry you guys have waited. I wish we could have flown together. One of the first things we see out of Arnie is, well, we would have been if you'd planned better, baby.
Yeah.
Already with like a snarky comment. You know?
Yeah, but maybe he's right. We don't know.
And you can kind of give him the benefit of the doubt now, because it's like, maybe we don't know where they go to college. It just could have been like an 8-hour flight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we don't know. They could have been like pretty tired.
No, they're from Texas.
Oh.
Right?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So they could have actually driven there instead of flown there for 4 people in the 90s. 4 people in the 90s from Texas to New Orleans definitely would be cheaper to drive, I think.
Yeah, and they meet Erica's friend, and they're driving. Bam.
Boobies.
Then Joey's having a good time. He's vibing out in the background, looking at him. But again, Arnie, like, this dude is letting you stay at his apartment, presumably for the whole week.
Yep.
And he's looking at his art, and he's just like, yeah, this is terrible. Like, this guy has awful taste. You know what I mean? Like, it is just off the bat, unrelenting, like, douchebaggery. And
there's no background like why Arnie should have any opinion on art. Right?
Yeah.
It's not like Arnie's an aspiring artist who's like pissed off this other guy made it or whatever. Yeah. It's just like he's like, man.
But that's really funny though with Joey.
Yeah.
I thought that was really funny. Yeah.
And they are like, how does this guy make money off of paintings of boobs?
Yeah.
And they're like, and it's like, well, he does. He's the friend's not going to be there. He just was there to meet them, and he has to go out of town because he's having a solo show in Los Angeles, which is something to say. And once again, see, here it is dividing right there, not looking
ideal.
Which the alignment's a lot better on this page than it was on the previous time.
Oh, and here we have sort of the drama of the issue. Arnie is upset and annoyed with Erica, and she says, "Am I being too hyper?" He responds, "Well, kinda, maybe. I don't know. It's something." Yeah. And she says, "I'm sorry, I'll slow down." Yeah.
So part of the thing here is, so she's a exotic dancer.
Yeah.
Which he supposedly has no problem with, but it's weird to me that they're going to New Orleans, they're going out of town.
Yes.
So, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna dance at the strip club that I used to dance at when I lived in this town."
Yeah.
I mean, that just, to me, that would feel like it's like.
Well, they're like independent contractors.
I guess, but I mean, it just seems. It seems weird because, like, what's he supposed to do? You're going on vacation in a weird town that you don't know about, and then you're like, okay, it'd be like if you. I mean, there's something weird where it's like I can't tell. Like, it feels like they just started dating.
Yeah.
To me, like it's like it feels like they've just been going out for a short time, and it's like it's weird too. They're staying at this. Well, she's not actually from New Orleans. She went to New Orleans to live for a few years, but that's issues ahead. But that's why they're not staying with like her family or something. Yeah. Well, that's revealed later. But it's weird that you know, if you went with somebody to their hometown and they're like, instead of being like, I'm going to show you the sights, they're like, all right, I'm going to go to work. Thanks for coming to visit my hometown. Like, it's just a little, and it's not even like they're there for a couple days and then she goes. It's like
they get off the plane and she's going to work.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird. And I definitely do think that he has an opinion like her job must be so much fun.
Yeah.
Which, if you've known people that's what they do, that job is not fun.
Yeah.
More good penmanship.
I mean, yeah, look at this. I just think that's so cool. Like, all the detail. And, like, he talks about it in the first issue and on his soapbox about how much time everything would take.
Yeah.
And it's like, looking at all the detail, everything that he did himself by hand, just look at the pants. Like, everybody's jeans and pants. Like, it's so good. It's so detailed. And that's what I say. I kind of chuckled at this part.
Mm.
You know, have you ever been to Mardi Gras?
Not to Mardi Gras, but I have been to New Orleans.
I was at Mardi Gras once, and I remember
way more crowded than this, I imagine.
Yeah, but it was so funny because, like, you're walking down streets of just full-on debauchery, you know what I mean? And you will see people with, like, holding crosses and, like, trying to apostatize in the middle of, like, one of the most hedonistic places you could find.
Yeah.
And they are not this nice and calm. I'll just say that. They are not as chill and calm as these people seem to be.
I mean, you know, like, because these are not human faces, and it's interesting how much emotion you're able to read off of this dude here.
Yeah. I mean, Joey's just like, whoa. Gunther seems like a little worried. He's pissed off. I can't really tell Erica's, but...
Yeah, she's... That's the interesting thing with Erica throughout the series is, like, you can't really read what she's thinking.
Yeah.
But I guess you find out why.
Yeah. Oh, and then another comment of Arnie saying, what's in the hurry? We've got all night. Arnie thinks to himself, well, if a certain person would slow down, again, it is like unrelenting.
Yeah.
His like snarkiness. And she works at a strip club in the French Quarter.
And you know, I mean, the thing that's funny to me in a way is like, you here on this page now he did the break properly.
Yeah.
You know, if you are telling a veiled autobiographical story and you're kind of character assassinating somebody, I wouldn't be like, I wouldn't brag on it. I would just be like, I would like pretend it wasn't. Like, like people that knew me would be like, oh, that's about whoever.
Yeah.
But like people who didn't know me, like, I would want them to just think it's a story or whatever, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And this is like when the story picks up when Arnie's kind of off sulking all by himself. Because you get like the two fun, interesting guys. You know,
Yeah.
You have Gunther and Joey. And he's just like, what do you want to do? Joey's, let's go get wasted. You know, like we're literally in New Orleans. Like let's do what we're supposed to do. And they settle for finding a McDonald's before they go.
Oh yeah, they want to go.
Yeah.
They want to go to a McDonald's because they say regular restaurants will be too expensive. The prices will be jacked up for Mardi Gras.
$10.
Yeah, I know, right?
Man, I wish
$10 meal, right?
That sounds nice right about.
I don't know
now.
if you can get a $10 meal at McDonald's that fills you up right now.
I don't think so. Yeah.
See though, like he's able to find an empty spot right off the beaten path during Mardi Gras. Because they're on Bourbon Street,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
well, they're in the French Quarter.
Okay.
I think that's kind of different.
Okay.
Bourbon Street is like kind of that's like the strip club row and stuff like that.
Yeah.
French Quarter is a bit different.
But still, I mean, there's not
But yeah, there's no
an
way.
empty park bench when everybody's wasted and passing out.
When I was there, you would not be able to find anything close to this. Everyone is like packed like sardines.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No way. But it looks incredible though. I mean, the shadows, all that stuff. You really just can't say enough about how good the artwork is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Though you could complain about like, so this is the lighting, that this shadow lighting versus this tree. How do you?
Oh yeah.
But you know, I'm just making fun of somebody by complaining about something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do like this one where it's like that dude sure has some weird paintings. I like them.
Yeah, I know.
I like them.
Well, like a whole fraternity crapped on it. Oh, I guess we didn't see that one.
Yeah.
I thought that was about the boobs one, because we're presented to it like that's the big one.
Yeah, and they kind of push the story along that they kind of notice something's wrong with Arnie.
Yeah.
And Erica. Bam.
So do you think that they've not been together that long?
I thought they had been, and
Or
he's just a jerk.
He's just been a jerk that long?
How I read it was like they have been dating a while, and he's just like not a nice guy. Like that's how I read it.
Yeah, no, that's possible. I don't know. It felt to me like, because like they'd never been to New Orleans before, right? And it seemed like she was like, oh, I'm going back to my hometown. So it seems like it feels like, and they're in college. So,
yeah.
You know, like usually college relationships only last like a year or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But again, this is like, I almost wish this was the whole comic, like Joey and Gunther, because this is so fun. Like they come across like
an intergender wrestling
match,
female wrestling champion,
and Gunther just automatically signs Joey up against his will to go into physical combat.
Yeah, and I can't tell if Gunther actually is supposed to be strong or we just assume he is because he's a rhinoceros.
We talked about that before, where it's like, do they have the
abilities of their
the animal that they are?
Well,
it's not really established.
I think no, because this guy does not have cat-like reflexes.
That's true.
At any point, in any point in any issue, does he have cat-like reflexes?
And Arnie is not like a happy dog.
Yeah.
Like dogs are supposed to be like loving and happy.
Yeah.
That is not.
And like worry-free.
Yeah. That is not Arnie.
He's not worry-free. So here we go. This comes the next challenger. Oh, no, we're in the other part of the story. Sorry, we're back to Erica.
At the strip club. Beating up a guy.
Yeah, because it's such a nice strip club that some guy's trying to touch her.
Yeah, definitely not a high-end spot.
Yeah, this does not make me feel like she should have been like, okay, I'm going back to...
So happy and excited.
Yeah.
But she wants like the camaraderie of her old friends, you know. It's
Yeah.
not the place, it's the people.
Yeah, but I think like they say something about a lot of the people have gone away. And like, you know, reading this issue, like I read issue 1 and then this issue, and initially I thought that something about the strip club was going to be like a story point. Like it's going to be like there's some crime at the strip club.
Yeah.
And these bungling duo here is going to have to solve the crime at the strip club or something, you know. That would have been fun.
Yeah.
But
instead we get melodrama.
Yeah.
And right here, Gunther, he finds him, and this is where like the douchebag level for Arnie kind of cranks up the full speed, like level 10, where he's talking about the issues, and he says, it's like she's a totally different person since we've got here. I've never seen her absorbed like this. And it's like, your girlfriend is in her hometown, or a place that she lived for years, you know. She hasn't been there for a while.
Yeah.
She's really happy to get back. She's excited to see her old friends and loved ones. And he's upset that her excitement is not based around him. You know what I mean? That's how I read that, and I was just like...
I understand feeling that way, but at the same time, in the other issues, it's like she's like a ridiculous level of into him. It seems.
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
that's where it gets weird because it's like, it seems like there's no in most of the issues there's like no time that she's not like pressed up against him and stuff. So I guess it would feel like somebody's ignoring you if you're used to them physically touching you at all times.
Yeah, it just, I don't know. I guess just the way I view relationships, that
Yeah.
being so upset, because they've only been here for like a couple hours.
Yeah.
And he's just like upset that for a couple hours she hasn't been like.
And he woke her up.
Yeah.
Like, he woke her up to get off the plane.
Which, how long would that flight be?
Like 3 hours?
Yeah, if that.
Like, okay, so it's from Houston to New Orleans. Presumably you're taking Continental because Continental had Houston as its hub. So yeah, it's like 3 hours max.
I think it might be less.
Yeah, I think it might be less. It could be. And if somebody told me it was 90 minutes, I'd believe them too.
I've driven from Houston to New Orleans.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like this was like probably like 10 plus years ago, so I don't remember, but I don't remember it being like that long. And
Like,
if you fly, it's
like
be a lot
5
shorter.
hours maybe.
I don't remember
Or
it
more
being.
than that. I know that Robert E. Howard drove from Cross Plains to New Orleans in the 1930s, so it couldn't have been too insane. In real time, Alex is looking up how long a flight is going to be.
When I get the info, we'll find it. Oh, if you drive, it's 5 hours.
5 hours driven. So definitely with 4 people, you would save so much money. And probably like, I mean, I know security didn't used to be what it is now, but still, it's like you'd have an hour before check-in. So you're only saving like an hour and a half by flying.
Yeah.
I mean, I know
road trips are fun when you're in college too.
I know. I mean, I know like where we live, like people will fly to DC.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, why are you? Because like where we live is an hour from the airport. So you drive an hour to the airport, and it's only 5 hours to your final destination in the first place. So why would you do it? But
well, to be fair, driving in DC absolutely sucks. I hate DC.
Yeah, but after you get out of the airport, you get your rental car and you still have to drive.
Okay, we're getting kind of off track.
Yeah.
We're getting off track.
So how did they get from the airport to the guy's apartment? Oh, he picked him up. That's right. So they didn't have to deal with driving.
Yeah. But also, I just want to say, this layout is awesome. I thought it was really cool how you have Joey getting the crap kicked out of him. And you have like the violence, the power of a woman, and then you have below her is like the sensuality of a woman.
Yeah, the parallel.
The two sides of womanhood.
Yeah. Ladiness, as you like to call it.
Ladiness, yeah. Yeah, and then Arnie's like, well, he's having fun. Yeah. Not much more after that. I mean, Gunther just told him, hey, maybe you should go talk to her. So.
Yeah, and he does not. I don't think he does. I think they're right. He does not win the $25.
No. But he had fun along the way.
Yeah.
And then, I also like in the Hepcats universe, pro wrestling is real.
Oh, like you mean there's no kayfabe wrestling?
Yeah, this is a work. I mean, this is a shoot.
Just like in our world, we pretend football's real.
Yeah.
Oh, too soon. Maybe if they'd lost.
Yeah, if the Eagles lost, it's all fake. It's crooked. It's not on the up and up. But the Eagles won, so we're all good. But I do also like that. Arnie just kind of forces his way into the back of the strip club. Like knock, 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 knock,
and
knock.
nobody has a problem with it.
Yeah, he's just like a girl outside told me you were here. I should just knock. She is shocked. She's like, she did?
Yeah, security should not
allow that.
like if you were a regular there and they knew you and this was your girlfriend, maybe. But it's like a girl that's her only night that she's there, and like this makes no sense.
The first night in years she's back.
Clearly it's probably a different security person than there was. I mean, I assume in New Orleans that it's a transient culture where people switch or move in and out of that town a lot.
Yeah. And they make up. And again, it's so odd to me that, and she even, like, this issue is so odd. And she apologizes to him and is like, oh, I'm so sorry. I promise I'll slow down. And then all of a sudden, dinner's on you.
Yeah.
Like,
well, he doesn't have a job, right?
I don't.
At any point have we ever seen him have a job the whole series? You never see him work.
No.
And I mean, I know like some people have money when they go to college, but I wasn't really part of that group that has unlimited money when they're in college or whatever.
Yeah.
You know? It's just like it's weird. It's weird.
Oh, also, this is your hometown, isn't it? Did you pick up on that?
Oh, I know.
Because it's not her home. It's not her hometown.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think there's something about Erica's past that she's keeping hidden.
Yeah, and right here, she's like, I've only made $30.
How much was that a good amount in '97?
I mean, I guess maybe that would be the equivalent today of maybe max $100. And I don't know how long. I mean, it seems like she was there for at least.
The time seems so weird in this issue. It's very difficult.
This is a great page right here.
Yeah. I love this panel. It's a great way to end it. You kind of just get the full experience of everyone and like the end of everyone's journey of this like couple hours.
Yeah, and here they are on Bourbon and Canal.
Yeah, I love Bourbon Street. It's great. You know, you have Gunther, who's like he's like the wise sage of the group.
Yeah, but
looking over
at the
everyone.
same time, they're the same age.
Yeah. And then I just love Joey just like walking kind of like with his head down, like, man, I just
got beat up by a lady.
Yeah, I just got obliterated by a female wrestler. Hey, no shame in that. But also, like, I'm just
see, and
amazed.
Look, they're holding hands. See, like I said,
and
they're always touching each other.
Yeah, and she says, "I love you." And how does Italian sound?
Yeah.
And just looking at the artwork, I mean, you're the artist. How long would all of this have like
just all those lines?
Yeah, like look at this. Look at the street. You know.
Yeah.
Even and it's like there's no shortcuts. Like everything has the same amount of detail. Like this random arm. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean he
the hatching on the newspaper on the street.
Yeah. I mean, I'd really like to see the original art just to get an idea, because there is something. I mean, it's in my imagination kind of, but like I feel like this newspaper was glued down, like this was drawn somewhere else and put down. Like there's something a little different about it that makes me feel that way. But I mean, I have no idea really. And like I don't know what this is up here.
Like, I know. That's like you know how? Have you ever been to New Orleans?
Oh, that's the top of the parade, or is that?
We know how
it's like. Or what
it's like It does. It either looks like it could be on the float because you have like the head of a float here.
Yeah.
It also kind of looks like it could be the buildings because like all the buildings have balconies.
Okay, so these are the people throwing the beads off of a balcony.
It kind of looks like it could either be that, but I don't know. The perspective is kind of. I don't think you'd have a balcony if you can reach like that high to the balcony. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a very low building, so I think it may be the float.
Maybe part of the float, yeah.
It's kind of weird because this looks like it's in the foreground of the head.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, we'll let it slide.
Yeah, if that's really the only artistic complaint we have, That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's like his panel design in general works great. Like I can't think of a time where I was reading Hepcats where I was like, which panel do I read next?
Yeah.
And like his panel design is not like super simple.
Yeah.
You know, it's just very intuitive and well thought out. He's very literate as a comic creator slash I assume reader as well. Like, you know, like I think like Todd McFarlane, some of his when he was actually drawing, you know, it's like sometimes you're like, I don't really understand
what do I do? Yeah.
how to read this, and part of that was like he's not a native comic reader, you know. He like taught himself how to draw and did it, but that wasn't really his thing. Were there any interesting letters in this one?
Yes, kind of. The first page, it's all just sort of like, we love Hepcat Zero. It's incredible. We're so excited. It's really not until this part where there's a comment here where it's like, we're so glad to see you making comics, even though it's kind of tough. The only thing people can do in the industry right now is go bankrupt. I thought that was like kind of funny. And then a person here talks about how he was only buying all the X-Men titles. And then he saw Hepcats, and now he's buying Hepcats instead.
That's funny that you're buying Hepcats. I mean, like, that's
and then
so opposite.
And then he does make a very interesting comment that I kind of agreed with, where I think it's him, but it's somewhere where he says that like comic fans have a tendency to, when you find one good independent comic, you treat it like the holy grail and the only good thing that's being made right now, when in reality there's tons of great independent stuff being made all the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's a pretty like good observation, like that, because that's very true. And then the same guy, this guy wrote a good letter. He says like there's more to comics than just smash and bam.
Yeah.
Which is very true. And then down here, someone just says, are you going to do any retaliation against the Comics Journal? Because the Comics Journal, I guess they like kind of mocked him, made fun of him. And Wagner is he's never at a loss for words when it comes to describing things he doesn't like.
Yeah.
Because he goes on this tirade about how the Comics Journal is a joke. There's no real journalism in it. It's fighting for relevancy. You know, like, why should I even try to do it? Why should I even do anything when like it's not even relevant today?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, his statement here is, I'll go ahead and read it. So, like, they're asking, will you retaliate? And he says, the Journal is struggling for relevance in today's market. It's dishonest, in my opinion, that they trumpet themselves as the paragon of journalistic integrity.
I love that line.
But constantly print baseless personal attacks masquerading as reviews. It all smacks of desperation to me. All they'd have to do to regain readers is go back to being a real comics journal. So to me, part of the thing that happened with so there was Comics Journal, and then they expanded to Comics Journal and Amazing Heroes. Neither of which did I basically ever see growing up. Like, I would occasionally see Amazing Heroes. I don't think I saw an issue of Comics Journal until...
I don't think I ever have.
Until, like, the late 2000s did I... When you know, like, the normal comic shops never had them in the 90s.
Where would you find them?
Like, later on? Like, certain specialty comic shops I would see them in later on. But, like, in the 90s, I never once... But Wizard came on the scene. And... Wizard was everywhere. Wizard was in the grocery store.
Oh, wow.
You know, it was there next to the Inquirer and everything. I mean, it was like at checkout. It was weird how hot comics got for a second there. And I think that really probably more so than people would admit today, probably really affected Comics Journal. I think that is why Amazing Heroes stopped, because, like, you know, Comics Journal was like real journalism about real comics. And like, if you look, Todd McFarlane never interviewed in Comics Journal.
Yeah.
Todd McFarlane interviewed in Amazing Heroes. You know, so like the stuff that they didn't
I
respect.
thought Todd McFarlane did do one because
No.
they talked about it
No,
on kayfabe.
It's Amazing Heroes. He wouldn't do it in the Comics Journal.
Huh.
He did it in the side one that's only about superheroes. He would not.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Huh.
Wouldn't he wouldn't interview him in the
Because I know Gary Groff.
But it is Gary Groff who did the interview.
Because there's a part in it where Gary Groff is like, well, what makes Spawn so good? And Todd is like, well, we sold over 1 million copies of issue 1, and
that's what makes it good.
Well, McFarlane was like, yeah, that's what makes it good. And how many copies of Love and Rockets do you sell each month?
Yeah.
And I was like, man, they were battling. In that interview.
Yeah, he I get it. I get both sides, but like you know, and I don't know what the review exactly was in Comics Journal that he's complaining about, but I do know that Comics Journal is very
pretentious.
I don't know if I mean, maybe, but so am I, so maybe not. But like,
I know they gave I think they gave like an infamous review of like Rob Liefeld. They gave like a 0 stars, like it's not even worth anything.
Yeah, which is, I mean, that it makes sense that they would do that, but like I don't know what they would have that they were so against Hepcats, and it probably was something where this guy clearly he has an attitude.
Yeah.
And he probably said something at a convention that pissed off whoever.
Yeah.
And then they chose to air them being mad at the creator in the comic, which that is one thing with comics, I think, more so than most art. Like music, it's like people are more forgiving. It's like that the artist was kind of whatever was going on. They're like, whatever. I still like the music. Comics, it seems like when the person gets canceled, it's like it's like it never comes. It's done and it never comes back. And you know, like it just is what it is.
But it feels interesting because I would be interested to see what that review is, because this does seem like a book that like they would like it, and like they would talk about it,
like
you know,
that they maybe should be printing it.
Yeah. We talked about that last time. This is a great book for them. Well, it could have been a great book for that roster,
but maybe and maybe they wanted it to be, and he snubbed them, and then they gave him a bad review.
Because like he's good friends with Dave Sim. Mm-hmm. What did the Comics Journal think about Cerebus?
Before that issue 180, whatever.
Well, yeah,
it was acclaimed.
Yeah,
you know, as it should have been, and then like they have their politics of what they feel, and then once it was clear that Dave Sim's politics didn't align with theirs, they're like, oh, he's shitty. We always thought he was shitty, and you're like, I'm pretty sure I can find some evidence that you didn't always think he was shitty.
But just weird because it's like the artwork is so good here.
Yeah.
And the story's
fine.
Yeah, it's fine. But I just feel like this is like right up the alley for a comics journal.
And I mean, even that you don't like the character and that's the reason you don't like the comic is proof that it's a good comic. You know what I mean? Like if it was a bad comic, you wouldn't dislike the character because you wouldn't be able to. There wouldn't be enough going on with the character development for you to dislike the character. You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't think it's a bad issue. I think,
you just don't like it.
I don't like Arnie.
Yeah, star of the issue.
Hey, man, Joey and Gunther, if they're the MVPs of this comic book.
Yeah, you'll re-edit it to their parts.
And then we got Hepcats Mall again.
Yeah.
What's your favorite?
Laughing Ogre.
What's your favorite? Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Is it cool?
Yeah, it's good. They have a lot of local books there in Columbus, which Columbus is a cartoonist town.
Oh, that reminds me. There is an issue here, or a letter here that me and you can relate to.
What's this one?
Because he talks about how
I thought you had died.
he's from.
What an opener!
I thought he was he's from Pennsylvania, moved to Texas. We're both from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Living in the South now. And he says, I'm here in Dallas. All the stores are absolutely pathetic.
Yeah.
And he says he calls the store out. It's called like Keith's Comics, and he's like, it's not bad, it's not great, but it's whatever, it'll do. And he says, in his town of Hickville, PA, had 3 comic shops, all of which were far superior than any of the 30 or so stores I've been in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Yeah, that's probably correct.
Yeah, and it's like, I remember where I grew up in Pennsylvania, I was probably like 45 minutes from the closest comic shop.
By foot or by car?
By horse and buggy.
Yeah, right.
And that store was incredible.
Yeah.
It had, you could walk in there and it had a whole like wall full of new releases, tons of back issues, every graphic novel you could ever want. And I've yet to really find a comic shop like here in North Carolina that is like that size, that just amount of comic economy. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like space economy for just all these comics.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. I actually I didn't grow up in Pennsylvania. It's just my family was there. I'd spend my summers sometimes with my grandma. But yeah, like where my grandma was, it was like probably from my grandma's house, I could probably walk to 3 comic shops within 45 minutes. Yeah. I mean, it was it's so dense there.
Yeah.
And like, you know, that's where I first found out about Cerebus. Was like there was like a particular comic that I was looking for. It was Joe Lisner did a Kill Raven one shot in the 90s that I was looking for when it came out, and it was like nobody over orders on that. Yeah. And like I found a shop that had it, and I went in, and the owner was really, really cool. I'm like, I was like, I'm just visiting my grandma, and somebody at another comic shop told me to go to that one, that they had it in stock. So I went over there, and he was like, I'm like, I don't really read anymore, but like I have an affection for this character, so I'm looking for that. And he's like, well, how many books do you get a year? And I was like maybe half a dozen. He's like, oh, that's not much. Are any of them Cerebus? And I was like that's like such a weird, like particular, like this guy was a Cerebus fan, and that, like, I had heard of it, but I'd never thought about reading it, because I think we might have discussed this before. Anything with funny animals, I just assume it's like Peter Porker, Spider-Ham, or whatever. You know, like I'm not going to read that. And, you know, like it always stuck with me, that guy.
That's like you and Ice Cream Man.
Yeah.
That was one of the
Ice Cream Man so hard.
That was one of the. I remember when we first met, we were talking about comics, and all of a sudden you're just like, I gave you a list of some of the stuff I liked, and you're like, oh.
Do you get Ice Cream Man?
Yeah. Have you ever heard of Ice Cream Man? And I was like, what's that? And now it's like one of my favorite books.
Yeah, because it's one of the best ones.
Yeah, it's incredible. I love Ice Cream Man. Yeah. That I was like, man, that's you, right?
It is me with Ice Cream Man. I would do it with Cerebus, but Cerebus, it's like, it's so particular which ones are really digestible.
It gets very, like, odd near the end. Like, there's some very interesting choices.
Yeah, well, it's more towards the middle. Well, like in the 200s. In the 200s, it's really, there's a lot there's a lot of great Cerebus, and like the art is always great. The words, like the word choice and the writing from that element is always great. But then it's just where it gets shady is, you know, people don't like his depiction of ladies, and then if he had wanted to, he could have said, this is what my character thinks, this isn't what I think, and it would have, would have been given the pass.
Yeah.
But he was like, nope, I think this is true.
Yeah.
And so then,
Eesh. Yeah.
then that didn't get well received.
But I just think it's interesting that, like, what's up with Yankees and comic books? Like, why are they so good at? Like, why
are the comic shops better?
Yeah, like,
so
why?
The distribution never made it to the South, so there's not a culture for comics down here.
Yeah.
You go to, and it's true when, like, so Ohio and Pennsylvania are great, amazing comic book meccas basically everywhere, the whole state. A lot of New York is like that too, just because the way the distribution network was, which I don't really understand, was so heavy there. And then, you know, you go to like West Virginia and there's maybe like 4 comic shops in the state.
Yeah.
You know, and versus Dayton has more, the town of Dayton in Ohio has more comic shops than the whole state of West Virginia, probably.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, to me, like the metropolitan comic shop, which, you know, like the comics shops around here, they're only in these metropolitan areas, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Those are kind of universal, and I don't really care that much for them. Like, but in the places where there's like, you know, like you go to like Reading, Pennsylvania, not really or Scranton.
That's where I was born, Reading, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, or Scranton, Pennsylvania, and like, you know, like
nice
towns
call.
that aren't really known for anything much, you know,
yeah.
except for you being born there in Reading's case.
What's up?
But you know, like the comic shop there is gonna have its own unique flavor and be cool, versus, you know, like if you're in an urban area, you kind of are universalized as far as what you want to do, because you have to be able to make the rent.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of comic shops there, the college town comic shop, it has to be this, like all the college town comic shops, which most of the metropolitan comic shops are also college town comic shops. They're all virtually identical. Like,
yeah.
Like, you know, it's like, it doesn't matter if you go to the comic shop by UNCG or the one by NCANT. You know, they're like, you know, 15 miles away from each other.
Yeah.
But like
same store,
same experience, same comics.
Yeah. What's your favorite business card?
Oh, I mean, I go for this Chicago Comics one. Actually,
that's my favorite.
Really great.
Yeah. Tough to read, but it's cool. I don't care.
Yeah, if you don't know where it is, you ain't gonna be able to figure it out.
Yeah. And then here we go.
Way of the World.
The best part.
The best Hepcats.
Yeah.
He's leveling it up.
Yep, and we're still with Joey. This is Joey. Not Arnie.
Yeah.
And
as a older man.
And like it is, like we said, it's him like 10 or so years into the future.
Yeah, I think maybe 15. Is he approaching 40?
No,
or
he's in
he's in his mid 30s.
Yeah, he says he's in his like early 30s.
Okay,
in the first issue of
it. So it probably is exactly 10 years after.
Yeah,
or whatever.
And that's what I'll say. Kind of cool. Wagner uses the same area on the map that in Joey's office as he does here.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, you can see Tunisia and like the Mediterranean Sea.
There it is.
Yeah. So I thought I just thought that was pretty cool. And man, he's just loving life in his cubicle.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. I mean, I've never worked in a cubicle before, but I can imagine this is very, very similar to it. And it's just him like, hey, you have a meeting. Hey, you want this paperwork? No, I can't do that right now. Blah, 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 blah. Just like Office. It's like Office Space, the movie.
Yeah, he really, like, you know, it's funny because, like, my day job thing right now, it's like, as it is, where I can work in my shop at the same time that I'm doing that job, that's great.
Yeah.
If, like, there's so much downtime with it, like, I would feel like if I was there in the office and I'm only working 10 hours a week and I need to spend the other 30 hours hanging out with people that I don't like,
Yeah.
there's no way I'd be able to keep that job.
And I think this panel
situation.
This panel says it all. Just God, you know. And I think this is incredible.
Yeah, it's a beautiful panel here.
Yeah. I mean, look at his
funny
face.
because and look at the cubicle, and it's like you're stuck in this.
Yeah.
But this is right here.
Yeah, this atrium.
It doesn't even make sense. It's like, what building has this, and like all these people are eating or something up here. It's like almost like you're at a zoo and you're watching people have to be in the cubicle or something, you know?
Well, to be fair, App State has an atrium that you can go in, and it has like a...
Oh, they do? And then you can look at people working in the cubicles?
Well, there's like a lower level and an upper level. And if you're in the upper level, you can look down and you can see people like doing like essays and studying and stuff like that. Not exactly
Which building is this?
It's like in the main hall building.
You gotta be more specific.
It's like the main student union. Yeah,
okay,
student union building. But reading this and like seeing this, there's a video game, and I want to know. I'd be curious if anyone else thought this, but this is kind of like Stardew Valley.
I don't know what that means.
Where it's like an indie game that came out like a while back. One of the greatest games of all time, in my opinion. And the whole point is like the main character of it. He's working this day job that he hates, a soulless company that he hates. He hates everything about it, his life, and he inherits a farm from his grandpa who passed away. And it's like you have to work the farm and like you grow plants and have animals, meet people, save the town.
Yeah.
And I got big Stardew Valley vibes off of like this Way of the World. And I thought Way of the World again was probably better and more interesting.
Oh yeah,
than the issue of Hepcats.
Yeah.
Especially this panel. I mean, we were talking about how Wagner does expressions really well.
Yeah.
Like this is like such a panned out like depiction of him, and you can see his face is so clearly is just depressed.
Yeah, and in a way, like it's not over rendered. It's like it's very like
subdued for him.
Very natural looking, and his I'll call this his mature style. The Way of the World stuff.
Because if he did this in like the Hepcats, these pants would all be hatched.
Oh yeah, there'd be
and the
so much
cubicle
more.
walls.
Yeah. Because this I do believe is the what's it called? The dots, the plastic.
Yeah.
The carpet too. Like I think he didn't do every dot like there. It's legitimately uniform and this line here.
Yeah.
That's where the sheet was only this wide, and he had to get another piece of the sheet to do that. That's why there's a line there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my theory.
But it still looks good.
Yeah, and he did do the cross hatching up here, and he did these great looking trees. But like, there's something like minimalist and cool about how he's doing the art here.
Yeah.
It's not like, I mean, the other stuff is good, but it's like kind of
overdone. Yeah.
And here we are with the ads, which is interesting that like they're letting him sell his own stuff in their book, even though they're reprinting this.
Yeah.
And
I mean, how much did the Antarctic Press believe in this?
I mean,
it feels like they truly thought they were hitting on like the next huge indie title with like how much they're letting him do that. Radio Hepcats.
Well, he had done Radio Hepcats himself. Like this is not through Antarctic Press.
Yeah.
You're sending a check to Martin Wagner himself to get these.
Which I would not recommend.
Yeah.
Time
it's
will
like
show that.
Original double diamond press editions. So like this is the ad for the special edition of issue 1, special edition of issue 2. And then also interesting to me, so they have this ad that is not an Antarctic Press ad. They also have this ad that is not an Antarctic Press ad. And so that's kind of interesting that their back page ad.
Yeah.
Your back page ad, okay, if you can't sell it to a video game or whatever.
Yeah.
I would not advertise a rival publication, but maybe they worked something out where maybe the back issue of Hate number 26 or 27 has an ad for Hepcats or something. Who knows?
Did you like Hate? Did you ever?
I like Hate fine. Do you not like Hate?
I've never read it.
You just bought one the other week.
I did. I haven't gotten to read it yet.
Oh, okay.
But I will say, Hate to me, along with like Daniel Klaus's 8-Ball, I don't know if you would agree, but it just feels like the quintessential Gen X comic.
Yeah.
Like when I think of like a comic book, like a Gen Xer in a comic book shop, I think of them buying Hate. It just gives off that vibe. You know what I mean?
Well, definitely, like if they're kind of an arty dude or whatever. So then we're going to the bonus material that's in here, which is great.
And I also want to say something. You can tell like the quality difference.
Yeah.
Just from this page alone, it does look.
Well, this is not as good a paper. This is much lower quality paper. This is a newsprint paper.
Man, look at that dragon.
I know. This story was originally printed in an issue of Usagi Yojimbo as a backup.
That is insane. I love Usagi Yojimbo, so I would love to find that issue that has my two great comic book loves. But yeah, look at that dragon.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
And look at this face being melted off.
Yeah, that's
it's like,
metal.
Yeah, it's very Tex Avery looking too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
and I love this. 84 hit points. You only had 9.
Yeah.
Like that dude is overkilled. Did you ever play Dungeons and Dragons?
I have, but you know.
Yeah.
Some people here at the shop and stuff are really into it, and I host nights, but it's just like I'm not into games.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah. And it's just Arnie and Joey playing and have a new buddy. What's his name? Arnold? No. Andy. His name's Andy. And Andy's kind of a jerk.
Yeah, Andy is kind of who you think of as playing Dungeons and Dragons. You know, he's who's the guy in Stranger Things?
Yeah.
Eddie.
I've known a couple of Andys.
Yeah.
In my time.
And so he's like, "All right, guys, you guys don't want to play Dungeons and Dragons anymore? Let's go break into a doctor's house
and steal acid." Yeah.
And steal sulfuric acid. You're like, okay, and they're like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't tell them initially. He's just like, there's this abandoned house where a doctor keeps supplies that we could go check out.
What do you think of the size of Gunther's head in relation to his body?
He hasn't got all his muscles yet, that's for sure.
I think it looks pretty odd there too, and you're just like, there's no way that neck is strong enough to support that head.
Yeah, he's got a lot of brains up there.
Yeah, he's a smart guy, but I was just like, he should be walking with like his head like going all over. Like, there's no way. Like, I thought that was kind of you can kind of see it there too. Like, you know what I mean? Like.
Is Erica, is she a dog also?
I thought she was a
horse?
Aardvark?
I don't know what she is. No, I think she is a dog. She's one of those ones with the long, those long-haired dogs or whatever. I don't know. I don't know if...
I didn't think she was a dog.
I don't know if animals are allowed to crossbreed in this universe of his or not. Because I don't know.
Would they be able to have kids?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, maybe they would just have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
Man, we should email Martin Wagner.
Yeah.
Some of the Hep lore.
Yeah, well, I can't tell,
But there are times in the book where you do see, different animals holding hands and stuff. So.
Yeah. And, I mean, there is something where it's it's unclear if they're really animals or they're presented to us as whatever animal. But then, we
were just talking about that.
Cat-like. So.
Well, we were talking about that earlier. Does Gunther have the strength of a rhino to force Joey to be in the match?
Yeah.
But yeah, and they find, as we said, they break into the house. They find the sulfuric acid and they fight over if they should steal it or not. And Gunther is like, you should not be doing this. This is a
they're
bad idea.
stealing a 5-gallon
thing of acid.
sulfuric acid. and like, why this guy has... So that's like 40 gallons. Oh, wait, no, there's a back row.
Yeah, you can see that there's a back row.
Yeah, so this is like 80 gallons of sulfuric acid. That sounds sus.
Yeah, what is this guy doing?
Yeah.
This is not a house you want to break into.
Yeah, this is a house you should...
But you know, again, look at the artwork.
Yeah.
Like all that stuff. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And they drop it.
But somehow it doesn't break, which is...
Lucky,
I guess.
And I do love this image where it's like even Andy, the jerk, he looks concerned. You know.
Oh yeah, because they hear that somebody got there.
And then look, they just bail.
As they should.
They don't even consider helping Andy. And why would they?
And this is ridiculous. It's like they hear that the owner got home, and instead of running, which seems a natural thing, he's still trying to carry
the acid,
the 50-pound thing of acid when he probably only weighs 100 pounds himself. You know.
And the guy says, "Can I help you?" And look he is terrified.
And he should be.
Yeah, this random man
with 100 gallons of sulfuric acid, and then the next day at recess, and that kid that they abandoned is missing.
Not at school, yeah.
And it's like, and I guess we never see him again. So, did he get killed by this guy and destroyed by the acid? We don't know.
And they don't really seem to care.
Yeah, they're concerned.
They're kind of it's not like overly concerned about their friend.
Well, no, yeah, they're not. They're concerned about getting in trouble. They're not concerned about if he gets hurt or not or whatever. Really, it seems like, and. It's weird because, to me, this is Joey, right?
Yes.
But he's acting like Arnie being this big of a douchebag.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they don't... They say here that they don't really like Andy, and hanging out with him is not that good of an idea, you know. So
yeah.
It could be kind of like that jerk who you're kind of friends with. And he's kind of mean to you because of maybe the vicinity of where you guys are.
Yeah. It's like, well, he's got the house where there's no parents at home, and you can just goof off over there and drink as much soda as you want.
Yeah. But I will say, it's kind of cool. No, I kind of like this.
Yeah. And see, so I mean, I do wonder, the shops in Ohio and Pennsylvania where there's shops with a more indie flavor than you find in the college towns and the metropolitan spots, if Hepcats had more presence.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's any possibility that when I was going to comic shops in the 90s that they had copies of the Hepcats, the Collegiate Hepcats trade paperback.
No.
There is nobody that had that on.
I have.
Well, we own copies.
Yeah, I have the trade paperback of it.
But there's no place that has that sitting on the shelf. You know.
And then an ad for the famous Hepcat Zero.
No, that's for Collegiate Hepcats.
Oh crap, that's my bad.
No, because this reprint's way before that.
Oh yeah. That's my bad.
Our best-selling paperback collection is now available through Capital City, who went under, and Diamond, who did not go under until recently.
Yeah.
Let's see what's on the back. What's on the back of this one? There he is.
Oh, there he is, the legend.
Yeah, he's looking like he's in GQ in this one.
He loves this photo of himself.
Well, it's way better than some of the other ones.
He uses it in the reprints.
Yeah.
And right there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good... look, he's flexing on us. You know, he's giving us, the Zoolander... What is it?
Yeah.
The Zoolander stare, you know, the tank top. You know, it's good he has some confidence, you know,
Yeah, it's funny, too, because it's like... I mean, part of what's funny is that, he's the one writing this, obviously,
Yeah.
but he's like, long unavailable. Hepcats 2 is an issue Martin Wagner considers important to his development. But one of the things that he talked about in here was that because of the sideways formatting, it doesn't reproduce well in a trade paperback.
Yeah.
That it really only works in the floppy form. And I thought that's interesting.
Yeah.
And also because Snowblind starts with issue 3, so he has the Snowblind trade, and so he's like, well, what do I do with the first 2? How do I monetize that? So he reprints.
He had a lot of irons in the fire.
Yeah, for having one product, he has a lot of irons in the fire.
Like he's juggling a lot of Hepcats. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it is. I mean, there is time passing. So.
Yeah.
This comes out in 94, so this is $2, and this comes out
in 97.
In 97, and the price has already gone up to $3.
Yeah.
I know this is printed on nicer paper, and it's not just by himself, but still, like, man, that seems like a huge jump in that short of a period of time.
Yeah.
And also, see, like. So this is $2.95 US and then $4.10 in Canada. Here, this one's $2 in US, $2.50 Canada. So something probably changed in that too, But what do you think this is? Do you think this is a computer graphic?
Ooh, I have no clue.
It reminds me of the computer graphic, the screensaver.
Yeah. Now that you say that, it does. Yeah. All right. So, question time.
Okay.
You just bought this. You read it.
Which one did I buy? Either one?
No, I'm saying let's just say you bought this one. You read it. You buy an issue 3.
Are they
Is it good enough?
Thinking they're continuing Way of the World or whatever?
Yeah. I mean, are you buying issue 3?
My assumption is they're continuing Way of the World, where I'm like, it's like, okay, there's a band you like.
Yeah.
They release the new single and they include the demos from the first album in there. You're like, I'm not really going to listen to the demos, but I need that new single.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you get Hepcats number 3.
Yeah.
In hopes of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But really, Hepcats 2, it's, like with Cerebus, like a lot of people talk crap about the first 25 issues of Cerebus, and I'm like, by around issue 5, like there's already nothing to shit on.
Yeah.
As artwork wise.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I would buy 3. Like I'd still keep going with this.
But once again, would you buy it by the cover?
No. I think this is really
one by
bad.
The cover? Maybe.
I don't know. I think this one's kind of bad too.
Really? I feel like this cover is way better.
Yes, but the scale is not that high. You know what I mean? Like this is probably like a 1 or a 2. To me, this is probably like a 3-4. Like it's not that appealing to me.
And this one, if we do go back, make it around to go back to 0, this is the coloring on 0 that
in the issue,
that felt so horrendous.
Yeah,
looks like the same technology is being used on this, and
she has big hands.
Yeah,
she has long fingers.
Yeah, big gloves.
Yeah.
But it's this one. This is better drawn. It's better designed. It's more striking.
Yeah.
On the thing, but also at the same time, it looks like an ad more than it looks like a comic. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, like this is.
And like the weird Erica, like maybe if they would have just had that, like straighten that out, blow it up a little bit.
And I do think this is this is really pushing that, like, okay, Erica's going to be the selling point of
Well,
the
this
series.
is. I feel like I've seen this image of Erica before.
Oh, really?
I feel like I've seen that in a comic book.
Oh, like he just traced it off himself?
I have a for some. I could be wrong. I kind of get that vibe from it.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, it was okay. I mean, really, like I was saying before, it really is Arnie that kind of just is an albatross on this comic book. Like he kind of just like weighs it down.
Oh, here, this is that,
This is the back,
this is that
last
same
page,
panel, yeah. That, look, this one, instead of throwing beads, they're throwing, like, cups or something. Is that a thing?
I had some cups, Mardi Gras cups.
People throw Mardi Gras cups?
Well, they're just like plastic, like little
Okay.
light cups.
Okay. That's,
Not like Yetis or anything.
yeah, I'm like, I'm just
Pelting
like,
Yetis
yeah,
into
they're
the crowd.
bourbon tumblers.
Yeah.
Throw bourbon tumblers at the crowd.
Yeah, but it was cool. I liked it. But yeah, issue 3, that's the good. That's where we're starting the
That's
good
where,
stuff.
yeah, like he's at issue 3. He's fully formed, with the exception of he's even more fully formed on Way of the World.
Yeah. But we'll get to that in the future.
And it'd be interesting. I don't know if you know, when does he actually get in touch with Dave Sim?
I don't know. I'm not sure when. I think it's. I don't. Well, it was before the reprints.
Yeah, definitely it's before the reprints. But I'm curious if it's like, if his first 2 issues are out and then he gets in touch with Dave Sim, and then he's like, oh shit, I gotta level up, man. Like I'm the best cartoonist at this newspaper in this student newspaper
At University of Texas, yeah.
but I am not the best cartoonist in North America.
Yeah.
I need to level up if I want to try and claim that title, you know.
And will he ever claim that title?
No.
We will find out in the future.
All right. Thanks, everybody.